The 3 days of darkness. The prophecy of Blessed Elizabeth Canori Mora, 1825. It seemed to me to behold the heavens opening, and Saint Peter, Prince of the Apostles, coming down surrounded with great glory and by numerous escort of heavenly spirits, singing canticles. Saint Peter was dressed in his pontifical robes and held in his right hand the pastoral staff, with which he was drawing upon the earth an immense cross. At the same time, the angels sang these words of the psalmist, "You will constitute them princes over the whole earth." After this, the holy apostle touched with this staff the four extremities of the cross, from which instantly sprang up 4 beautiful trees loaded with blossoms and fruits. These mysterious trees had the form of a cross and were surrounded by a splendid light. Then I comprehended in the depth of my soul that Saint Peter had produced these 4 symbolic trees to the end that they may serve as a place of refuge to the little flocks of the faithful friends of Jesus Christ, and in order to preserve them from the fearful punishment which shall convulse the whole earth. All good Christians shall then be protected under these trees, together with all those religious persons who shall have faithfully preserved in their hearts the spirit of their order. I say the same thing in relation to the secular clergy and to all other persons of every class who shall have kept in their heart the Catholic faith. They shall all be protected. But woe to those religious who do not observe their rule. Thrice unhappy they, for they shall all be struck by that terrible punishment. I say the same to all secular clergy and to all classes of people in the world who give themselves to the life of pleasure, and whom follow the false maxim of modern ideas which are opposed to the holy precepts of the gospel. These wretched people who through their scandalous conduct deny the faith of Jesus Christ shall perish under the weight of the indignant arm of God's justice. Not one of them shall be able to escape the punishment. I beheld these good Christians who had sought a refuge under those mysterious trees in the form of beautiful lambs, confided to the care and vigilance of Saint Peter, their good shepherd, testifying to him the most humble and most respectful obedience. As soon as Saint Peter, the Prince of the Apostles, had gathered the flock of Jesus in a place of safety, he reascended into heaven, accompanied by legions of angels. Scarcely had they disappeared when the sky was covered with clouds so dense and dismal that it was impossible to look at them without dismay. On a sudden, there burst out such a terrible and violent wind that its noise seems like the roars of furious lions. The sound of the dreadful hurricane was heard over the whole earth. Fear and terror struck not only men, but the very beasts. All men shall rise one against the other, and they shall kill one another without pity. During this sanguinary conflict, the avenging arm of God will strike the wicked, and His mighty power He will punish their pride and presumption. God will employ the powers of hell for the extermination of these impious and heretical persons who desire to overthrow the church and destroy its very foundation. These presumptuous men, in their mad impiety, believe that they can overthrow God from His throne, but the Lord will despise their artifice, and through an effect of His mighty hand, He will punish these impious blasphemers by giving permission to the infernal spirits to come out from hell. Innumerable legions of demons shall overrun the earth and shall execute the orders of divine justice by causing terrible calamities and disasters. They shall attack everything. They shall injure individual persons and entire families. They shall devastate property and alimentary productions, cities, and villages. Nothing on earth shall be spared. God will allow the demons to strike with death those impious men, because they gave themselves up to the infernal powers and had formed with them a compact against the Catholic Church. Being desirous of more fully penetrating my spirit with the deeper sentiments of His divine justice, God showed to me the awful abyss. I saw in the bowels of the earth a dark and frightful cavern, whence an infinite number of demons were issuing forth, who under the form of men and beasts came to ravage the earth, leaving everywhere ruins and blood. Happy will be all true and good Catholics. They shall experience the powerful protection of the holy apostles, Saint Peter and Saint Paul, who will watch over them lest they may be injured either in their persons or their property. Those evil spirits shall plunder every place where God has been outraged, despised, blasphemed. The edifice they profane will be pulled down and destroyed. Nothing but ruin shall remain of them. After this frightful punishment, I saw the heavens opening, and Saint Peter coming down again upon earth. He was vested in his pontifical robe and surrounded by a great number of angels who were chanting hymns in his honor, and they proclaim him as sovereign of the earth. I saw also Saint Paul descending upon earth. By God's command, he traversed the earth and chained the demons whom he brought before Saint Peter, who commanded them to return into hell whence they had come. Then a great light appeared upon the earth, which was the sign of the reconciliation of God with man. The angels conducted before the throne of the Prince of the Apostles the small flock that had remained faithful to Jesus Christ. These good and zealous Christians testified to him the most profound respect, praising God and thanking the apostles for having delivered them from the common destruction and for having protected the Church of Jesus Christ by not permitting her to be infected with these false maxims of the world. Saint Peter then chose the new Pope. The church was again organized. Religious orders were re-established. The private families of ordinary Christians, through their great fervor and zeal for the glory of God, became like the most exemplary religious communities. Such is the glorious triumph reserved for the Catholic Church. She shall be praised, honored, and esteemed by all men. All men shall become Catholics. And shall acknowledge the Pope as the Vicar of Jesus Christ.